All right, everybody. Getting things logged on here. Give me just 1 second. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's see here. Gonna do a nice little quick teaser here for everybody. Hey, everybody. I am live on YouTube. Log on in. Come and check it out. I'd love to have you join me for my live stream on YouTube. Adding a link because you got to these days. All right. And there we go. Okay, so now that we've gotten that taken care of, how is everybody doing today? It is the first official live stream of 2024. Happy New Year to everybody. I'm really stoked for this because just looking at how this month has played out has been pretty cool, pretty crazy. So a couple of things I'm going to be talking about today. I'm just going to talk about how the new year is going on so far, what my reading goals are for the year, what I've accomplished reading wise this month. I'm also going to talk about the author meet and greet that I got to participate in last week. So for those of you who watch the channel on a regular, consistent basis, some of these things will sound fairly familiar. First and foremost, if you are new to the channel and you're wanting to help support the channel, there are a couple of ways that you can do that. You can become a subscriber on Patreon. There are 3 support tiers that you can choose from. Those tiers include the Mage, which for $1 a month, it gives you access to an uncut, unedited version of the author interviews that I do each month. For $3 a month, you can become a Dragon Warrior, which gives you access to it's $3 a month. It gives you access to the uncut interviews, plus a week's early access to my creative writing tips that I do for Creators Corner. And then if you go for $5 a month, which is the Guardian of the Heavens tier, that one gives you access to the first 2 perks, plus you get extra bonus behind the scenes video that's only exclusive to that level of patronage. Of course, you can also become a supporter through my shop on Teespring. It's gkjpublishing.creator-spring.com, and those links should all be down in the video description as well. But you can get t-shirts, there's some jewelry, there's some other items. I do have a ladies only goddess collection. So there's a bunch of stuff that you can find on there as well, along with shirts and mugs and whatnot. So yeah, those are the ways that you guys can support the channel and what I do here. But you can also connect with me through social media, and I'll plug all that again later towards the end of the video. Anyway, so talking about this month, 2024 has been going pretty well. I haven't been doing a whole lot of writing at this point. I have been working on some stuff, but nothing heavy. Most of what I've been working on is just trying to get myself put out there, trying to promote the books a little bit more, which led me to doing the author meet and greet last week, which I'll talk more about here in just a little bit. So writing has kind of been on the back burner lately, just because I've got other irons in the fire that I'm trying to work through. But I am working on a project. And I think I may have mentioned this back in December. There's a science fiction kind of cyberpunky type project I started working on a few years ago, and I've been developing it into its own story. And so that's one thing. But I do have a goal, not exactly a New Year's resolution, but a goal that I do want to, that I have been putting myself towards, and that is also getting the finishing touches on a espionage thriller that I've been working on for a number of years, finally put into publication. That storyline is called Mother Mary. And so I'm trying to refine that and, get it into a place where I can actually shop it and edit it and do what needs to be done with it. Beyond that, the channel is doing pretty well. I've seen some good subscription growth over the last month or so, and that's been really positive. I'm still doing the War of the Stars podcast. My co-host John and we have been part of Geek News Now and their network for 4 or 5 months now, so it's been going pretty well. We actually recorded an episode yesterday that will go out this next week, and we actually have planned out pretty much the rest of February, which I'm really excited for. Kind of puts us in front of the 8 ball instead of behind it, which is nice. And then a couple of weeks ago, I restarted, I should say, my Storytellers podcast. I haven't done the Storytellers podcast in quite a while. The last time I recorded anything was back in 2021, and that was season 4. And I finally got the courage to jumpstart season 5. And this season, the whole point was to share what I've been dealing with personally, with coming out of a divorce. It's not something I've shared all that often with people, and people that are close to me, they know what's going on. But the goal was to make sure that I could provide a way of offering healing to anybody listening to it. Because I'm not a therapist by any means, but I have found that when I've listened to someone's life journey in a particular area, it has been very helpful for me. And so I felt like it was time to maybe turn that around and offer something that could help other people. And that's just how I was wired with this. So I've got 2 episodes out. So the new season is called Dealing with Divorce. You can find that on anchor.fm/GKJ Publishing, or you can search for it on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, basically anywhere you have access to podcasts. You can probably find it. Just search for GKJ Publishing, or Garrett K. Jones, or Storytellers, or with this current season, Dealing with Divorce. And so yeah, new episodes for that podcast come out every Monday. That's my release schedule. I don't know how many I'm actually going to do, but I'm producing them as often as I can. So that's pretty much going on. As far as the right way is concerned, that season 6 has been going pretty well. This live stream makes for episode 10. And I am really excited to see how this plays out, because I've got more episodes coming out, more content coming out over the next couple of months. In fact, I'm checking my schedule here on Canva. Yeah, here we go. What's my schedule like? There we go. And then so next month on the 17th, I have the February episode coming out. So that's in 3 weeks. Then I have 4 weeks from today, which is February 24th, which is 2 weeks after. It's going to be the live stream. So I'm hoping those dates are correct. Let me check my calendar, my actual calendar, because that'll, yeah, 17th, 24th. Sweet. So that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. And then March, we actually have 3 episodes coming out in March. So the 16th, we have the March episode. The 23rd, we have the live stream. And then on the 30th, which is the last Saturday of the month, I'll be doing the spring preview. And that spring preview will actually segue us into the weekly episodes of Author Awareness. April, that marathon will go into place. And so I will have some really cool stuff for you guys as we are coming up on that. Yeah. So, and then every week in April, I've got episodes coming out, which is going to be a lot of fun. A great list of authors. And then May, we're back with all new content. I have the May episode comes out May 11th. And then I'll be doing a live stream on May 18th. So that's kind of showing you what's coming up in the next 3 to 4 months. And I'm really, really excited for how this is going to play out. So with that said, I want to turn my attention to the topic of the author meet and greet. Which I had an absolute blast doing. Actually, so let me kind of back up. The author meet and greet, this is one of several that I've been doing over the last couple of years with the Kings County Library System, specifically at the Hanford Library. And they've been putting these on for the last couple of years, and it's been great to get community outreach for various authors. So of the authors that were there, we had, let's see here. So there was Joni Kirby. Joni, her husband, former husband or late husband, he passed away a couple of years ago. They had a dog named Satori who died suddenly. And so she was talking about that journey of how Satori was providing love and whatnot in their family. There's Christy Camara, and I have talked with Christy before. She's never been on my show yet. I would like to get her on here at some point. But Christy wrote a book about having to deal with the loss of a child. I've never experienced that, but that is something that several people have gone through, and someone in my family has gone through. And so it is, it's good to have authors like that. Joe Estacio was talking about his childhood growing up in Brooklyn. And so his book was designed as a kid's book. Then there's Albert Garcia, who does fantasy horror. We also had Lee Marianow. I didn't get a chance to really talk with her about her books. Same with Marcy Lawson or Cecilia Young. They had their tables were a little bit away from me. I didn't get really much of a chance. There was a lot of people. But the gal sitting next to me, Ruthie Madison, she writes horror. And it's more like YA horror. So it's not like really, as far as I'm aware, it's not really like really in-depth, really dark or anything like that. But she does write some level of urban fantasy horror. Then we had two natives or two people that I know of that I've worked with. Ariane Wing, her family is local to our area. They owned a really awesome, very popular restaurant in what is part of our historic China Alley here in Hanford. In fact, if you Google the China Alley, it's really cool. It was one of the first built in California for a community of Chinese immigrants here to the state. And it's still the buildings, the original construction still stands. It's been listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, which is amazing. And they're constantly looking to raise money to help with the support and preservation of the alley. They have a Taoist temple there, which did received fire damage a few years ago. That's since been dealt with, and they're in the process of getting that all cleaned up and re-preserved and whatnot. But Ariane was selling her book. It's a cookbook and recipes that her family had put together over the years, including some things that she has added in. But she also runs a local tea store called LT Sue, and I love it. I'm a big tea connoisseur, and while most of the time I'm getting my tea from a grocery store, LT Sue's varieties and stuff are amazing, and it helps support my community. So I'm always looking for a way to reach out and support my community. The other author that was there that I've personally worked with is Parker Bowman. I worked with him at our local paper. He was one of my editors. Really cool guy. He did an article about me and my books back in, I want to say 2017, when I had books 1 and 2 out. And so he was there, and he helped publish a book called A Place Called Home, which talks about the history of our community of Hanford, California, and of Kings County. And I had 3, and this is before I got hired on at the Sentinel, but I had at least 3 articles in the book. In fact, I've got a copy of it right here, A Place Called Home. And there are 3 articles in here, at least, that I helped write. And it was a lot of fun to work on this project and be a part of it. In fact, while I wasn't the person selling the book, I did have someone who picked up a copy and saw that I had authored a couple of articles in it, and they came over and asked me to sign it as well, even though it's not my book. So that was really neat. As for me and for what I did, I was actually able to sell 5 copies of book 1, The Heirs of Menenias. And 2 of the copies actually were sold to my brother and his girlfriend. They're starting this whole new thing where they want to do more reading. My brother's not much of a reader, which is really cool to see him take on this challenge. And his girlfriend's a really big fan of fantasy, so kind of a nice best of both worlds type of situation. And so they were interested in picking up copies of my books, and so they're reading it together, and they're challenging each other to complete the book. And it's really cool. I got some new readers who are new to the franchise as well. And I say franchise, it's not a franchise. Nobody's co-opted it for any other kind of media project, so whatever. But it was really cool to have, because one of my biggest concerns when I'm doing events like this, and I've said this before on live streams, is that I always worry, because of the community that I'm in, that I'm going to saturate a market. Because I'm one of a handful of authors. You can only read a book in so many times, or in such a short amount of time, that my concern is that people are going to get stale with my material. Thankfully, that's not the case. I'm finding new readers every time. And while I would love it if they would just buy an entire set from me, because that's like $75 worth of books in one sale, I have to play my cards close to the vest on that one. But it is a blessing to be able to communicate and to connect with people in my community and find these new readers. And it's just an absolute blast. So yeah, I had a lot of fun with the event. We had a few people that were coming through and doing video and broadcasts on social media. I had an absolute blast with it. So that's pretty much what I've been working on over the last month since the previous live stream. Honestly, there's not much else to really share. I do want to say, and it's probably never ever going to get passed around, but I'm a big fan of a cosplayer by the name of Snarky J Cosplay. If you haven't followed her, she's great. She's fantastic. I love her. And I occasionally have some really good conversations with her about fandom and stuff like that. She probably is just tolerating me, but whatever. Anyway, I help support her and what she does on her channel and her network. And so I have her 2024 calendar up here right above my computer. And I'm like, hey, that's cool. I get to look at Chun-Li this month. Next month, I have no idea. I'm waiting to be surprised. But that is to say, it's always great to support local creatives, or even though she's not local to my area, she's not even from California. She's from like Florida, I think. But it's for me, I like to support other creatives, especially the indie creatives. And so if you feel inclined to do so, like I said, you can click on the link for Patreon. You have a range of $1, $3, or $5 a month. I do recommend the $5, not just because it brings in a little bit more income for me, but also because you get more out of it. But then you could also go on and hit Teespring. You can check out the store, some great merch on there, t-shirts, mugs. There's a pendant, there's a sticker, there's a pennant, like a banner type of thing. Yeah, there's all they're phone cases as well. So check it out, see if it's something you're interested in doing, and yeah. Anyway, so that's gonna be it for me on this month's live stream. Normally I usually go about 30 minutes, but yeah. Normally I do talk about movies that I've seen on the live stream. As far as movies that I've seen that are brand new or anything like that, the most recent movie that I've seen in theaters was the new Trolls movie, Trolls Band Together. Anna Kendrick, Justin Timberlake. And I'm not usually a fan of these movies, but I took my son. He had a blast. And what killed me, though, is some of the dialogue is just chock full of like these like name drop pun references to boy bands and stuff like that. I'm just like, oh my God. It was bad. It was, oh. And what's fun, but it was enjoyable. I'm pretty sure the animation style is really interesting. Like you have different styles of animation within it's all CGI, but different textures of animation all kind of working together. But with some of the stuff that goes into the writing, some of the animation that takes place, some of the scenes that are depicted, I'm pretty sure the writers and the filmmakers were basically doing all the cocaine mixed with a few hundred drops of LSD. It is a trip. But my kid liked it. He started dancing around to some of the music, and my cousin who went with us, she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna get your son the soundtrack." And I'm like, "Oh, thanks for that." So yeah. Anyway, so that's it. I'm wrapping up this live stream. Hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend, the great rest of January, even though January is the Monday of is the month equivalent of Mondays. So I hope you have a great next couple of weeks, and I'll see you back for episode 11, which is the full February episode. If you did not get caught up on that episode, you can do so. The link is up here somewhere. You'll see the tab pop up. And then there will also be links to the most recent videos, because I have been segmenting out the different segments so that you can find those in their individual playlists. So anyway, peace. Have a great rest of your January.